Harry and Meghan have been bumped down the pecking order when you go to the...
With this hilarious story, apparently palace officials have been trying their hardest to strip Harry of his...
The news didn't just break it erupted like a thunderstorm over the Atlantic. Just when everyone thought the royal chaos had finally calmed down, Buckingham Palace decided to drop a bombshell that no one saw coming. And oh, this wasn't just drama, it was nuclear. Palace insiders confirmed that serious discussions were underway, a quiet but chilling review of royal titles belonging to non-working members. One simple line from the BBC was all it took to send shockwaves through every corner of the internet. But the real story wasn't in the words, it was in the silence that followed, because everyone knew exactly what that meant. The royal status of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was hanging by the thinnest, most fragile thread imaginable. And then, boom, within hours, yes, literal hours, Prince Harry was reportedly spotted boarding a private jet from sunny California, heading straight for London.
My favourite source for royal news, and quite right, not that we're biased. Harry said in his BBC interview that he was forced to step away from royal duty due to security concerns. I thought Harry and Meghan had decided to leave royal duty before the security assessment that Darren...
No Netflix crew tagging along, no Meghan by his side, no charming smiles for the camera, just a visibly tense Duke of Sussex, face tight, jaw clenched, ready to confront the one thing he's been running from for years, the palace itself. Because this time, the royal gloves were off. It all began earlier that morning during what was supposed to be a routine Buckingham Palace press briefing. But instead of the usual polite announcements, the palace's spokesperson dropped a verbal grenade. In their ever-cryptic royal tone, they confirmed that a constitutional review of royal privileges and honorary titles was officially underway, guided by the Privy Council itself. Translation? They were drawing up a list of who deserves to keep their royal titles and who doesn't. And honestly, no one needed a translator to figure out who that was really about. After years of explosive interviews, best-selling tell-alls, and Netflix confessions that left the monarchy bruised and bleeding, it seems the palace finally had enough. And this time, they weren't fighting back with words, they were fighting back with power. But what stunned everyone wasn't just the announcement itself, it was the timing. Because it came just days after King Charles was spotted holding a private, high-level meeting at Clarence House with senior courtiers and constitutional advisors. A rare, serious gathering reportedly focused on one thing: streamlining the monarchy for the modern era. And if you speak fluent royal, you know exactly what that means. Streamlining is just the polite British way of saying cutting people off. Within minutes of that palace statement, royal reporters swarmed Windsor, Kensington, and even Balmoral hunting for reactions.
They are dependent on each other, though.
Yeah,
totally. Well, that's what you said, Jack.
Yeah, I agree.
So we are in total agreement.
Prince William's spokesperson, of course, gave the classic no comment. But behind the scenes, whispers say William wasn't just aware, he was deeply involved in the talks leading up to it. A palace insider told The Times, William believes the monarchy can't survive if titles are used as branding tools for personal profit. This move isn't revenge, it's about protecting the crown. But to Harry, it felt exactly like revenge. Imagine this, you're the son of a king, your name, your children's identity, your royal blood now being dissected like a corporate asset across a mahogany table in Buckingham Palace. That's what Harry was facing, and according to close Sussex sources, he lost it the moment he saw the headline. He reportedly stormed out of a meeting at their Montecito mansion, grabbed his phone, and called his father's office directly. But the answer he got, it wasn't soft. The palace reportedly told him, His Majesty will see you when you arrive, sir. Translation, don't argue from California. Come home and face it. And so, he did. By mid-afternoon, flight trackers spotted a Gulfstream jet linked to the Sussexes leaving Santa Barbara Airport under tight security. Passenger list, 1. Destination? Heathrow. Within minutes, global media lost its mind. Prince Harry rushing back to London amid royal title crisis. The kind of story that practically writes itself. But let's rewind, shall we? Because this whole royal storm didn't just appear out of nowhere. Experts say the review had been brewing quietly for months, ever since the release of Harry's memoir, Spare. That book didn't just lift the royal curtain, it set it on fire.
The official statement from Buckingham Palace issued on January 18, 2020, does not distinguish between private or commercial use of the HRA.
From bitter family feuds to private royal secrets spilled like tea at high noon, it painted a picture of betrayal, heartbreak, and rebellion. And then came the Netflix series. Oh, that 6-hour royal therapy session that painted Harry and Meghan as victims of palace cruelty and media manipulation, while simultaneously cashing in on the royal brand they claim to despise? To the British establishment, that was the ultimate insult. Even the most loyal palace aides, the ones who usually whisper instead of speak, began, muttering words like untenable, disrespectful, and damaging to the crown. So when King Charles took the throne, insiders say he wanted to give Harry space time to reflect, maybe even return to the fold. But the scandals just kept rolling in. The chaotic car chase in New York, the questionable Archewell business tie-ins, and the growing public belief that the Sussexes were trading royal privilege for Hollywood fame. At some point, even the most patient monarch would snap. And according to Palace Whispers, that moment came when Meghan said on her podcast, I didn't grow up knowing much about the royal family. That one line, just one, was the final straw. Because staff members remembered Meghan before her engagement, reportedly reading royal biographies, rehearsing curtsies in the mirror, and obsessing over royal protocols.
Their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC.
That's when King Charles finally said, enough. But what really pushed this to the edge wasn't royal emotion, it was politics. Behind the Grand Palace gates, senior members of Parliament, especially the House of Lords, were quietly pressuring the monarchy to make it official. Define what non-working royals can and cannot do with their titles. One MP even said, if you want to be a private citizen, then be one, but you can't play prince when it's convenient. Ouch. That hit deep, and now there's serious talk of a titles regulation bill, a potential law giving Parliament, not the king alone, the final word on who gets to keep royal privileges. That means Harry's fate and Archie and Lilibet's future could be decided not by royal decree, but by a public vote. Can you even imagine? It's one thing to be snubbed by your brother.
Harry and the Duchess of Montecito should lose their official royal titles.
But to have your royal identity stripped by the government on live television, that's another level of humiliation. No wonder Harry jumped on that jet. Meanwhile, back in Montecito, Meghan was reportedly stunned, though not surprised. She'd always feared that the palace would one day turn the royal titles into a weapon, but her reaction was classic Meghan, swift and strategic. A Hollywood insider claims she immediately called her PR team and lawyers, plotting how to get ahead of the story. Because if there's one thing Meghan knows, it's how to control a headline before it controls her. The problem? This wasn't tabloid gossip anymore. The palace wasn't playing PR chess, this was an official move, backed by Parliament, endorsed by the king, and quietly supported by Prince William. And when that happens, no amount of spin can save you. As Harry's jet crossed into British airspace, London's mood grew heavier. Helicopters hovered over Windsor, BBC cameras went live, and reporters camped outside Clarence House. Royal fans split in two, some saying Harry deserved it, others calling the move cold and heartless. But for Charles and William, this wasn't about vengeance, it was about legacy. The monarchy has survived wars, divorces, scandals, but what it can't survive, insiders say, is a brand war.
Is planning to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal title.
Because when the Sussexes turned royal duty into Hollywood business, they didn't just walk away, they challenged the crown itself. So for the palace, the rule is simple. If you walk away completely. As Harry's plane prepared to land at Heathrow, one reporter outside summed it up perfectly. For the first time in years, Prince Harry isn't flying home for a funeral, a coronation, or a wedding. He's flying home for a reckoning. And whether he leaves as Prince Harry or just Harry Windsor, that will depend on what's said behind those palace doors. Sources claim Harry entered the room already on edge. He wasn't there for a warm reunion, he was there to demand. He wanted his father to halt the parliamentary discussions immediately. Not next week, not tomorrow, now. But King Charles, ever the unshakable monarch, stayed firm, calm, almost too calm. He reportedly looked Harry straight in the eyes and said quietly, "This isn't just about you, my boy. This is about the future of the crown." And right there, the ocean between father and son, the years of silence, resentment, and pain suddenly felt wider than ever. Harry, pacing, reminded his father that he was still a prince by birth, still Diana's son, still loved by the people. But Charles's reply cut like a blade. "You can't have it both ways, Harry. You can't reject the institution and trade on its name." That's when it all exploded. What was meant to be a calm, private talk turned into a shouting match that echoed through the marble halls of Clarence House. Aides nearby froze. The tension was electric, sharp enough to slice through glass. One senior equerry even tried stepping in, only for Charles to wave him away. "This is between us," the king reportedly said. According to insiders, Harry turned to William instantly, accusing him of orchestrating everything, whispering in Parliament's ear, feeding the press, pushing their father to move forward with the title review. William didn't yell. He didn't need to. His voice was low, steady, but it hit like thunder. "You made your choice, Harry. You left. You wanted freedom. Well, this is what freedom looks like." Boom. The air cracked. Harry reportedly snapped, shouting that William had betrayed him, that he was turning their mother's memory into a weapon against her youngest son. He accused him of proving everything Diana once feared, that her boys would be torn apart by the very institution she fought against. But William's reply was like ice. "Don't use mom as your shield. You lost that right the moment you sold her memory to Netflix." The words hung in the air like smoke. That's when Harry's composure broke. His hands trembled, his voice cracked, and he pleaded with his father to at least spare Archie and Lilibet's titles. Insiders claim she was furious not just because the palace leaked details, but because Harry had gone to London without her. To Meghan, that wasn't strategy, it was betrayal. She felt cornered. One friend later said, "Like this was how they destroy people, isolate, then strike." Translation? Meghan was going on the offensive, turning the narrative back to victimhood, painting herself and Harry as targets of the institution's cold machinery. But this time, something was different. The world wasn't buying it. Social media lit up like wildfire. The hashtag #StripTheTitles began trending across the UK, while in the US, #Leave Harry Alone fought back in defense. Even the Sussexes' most loyal fans were split right down the middle. Some argued the monarchy was outdated and cruel. Others said Harry and Meghan had turned royal privilege into a brand and were finally facing the consequences. The British press, of course, went into full frenzy. The Daily Mail screamed, "Return of the rebel Prince Harry faces his day of reckoning." The Telegraph dubbed it the Crown's quiet coup. But the real shocker came from The Guardian, which revealed a major leak from inside Parliament. Draft legislation was already being prepared to revoke the royal privileges of non-working royals. That's right, this wasn't talk anymore. The legal wheels were already spinning. After years of tell-all interviews and scandal after scandal, even Meghan's closest allies were tired. The sympathy was fading, and the control she once had over her narrative was slipping fast. Then came the nail in the coffin. Late that night, Buckingham Palace released an official statement confirming what everyone feared. The review of royal titles was advancing, with cooperation from both the Crown and Parliament, and that no individual was exempt from the process. One sentence, that's all it took to send the world spinning. For the first time, it wasn't rumor or gossip, it was official confirmation. The titles were really on the chopping block. By morning, London's newspapers screamed in unison, "Royal titles in peril, Harry returns too late." And in Montecito, sources say Meghan broke down in tears. She kept saying, "They can't take that from my children, they can't," one insider revealed. But a royal aide summed it up best. The monarchy doesn't take, it corrects. And this time, the correction was coming fast, faster than anyone ever imagined.